Hey folks, welcome back to our question and answer series. We've got we've got Jim here with us. Jim, how's it going?
Going good. It's Friday, so I'm loving it.
It's Friday. I know. It's and it's a long weekend coming up. So
It is a
so
long
it
weekend. That's
should be,
fantastic.
yeah. I know. I get an extra day to sleep in. All right. Before we just keep talking about the weekend, let's talk about a question that's come our way. One of our frequently asked questions for Kanban teams is we talk a lot about flow metrics in Kanban. Actually, even outside of Kanban.
Mhm.
But the question we're getting is throughput the same thing as velocity? One of the flow metrics is throughput. Is throughput the same as velocity?
No, throughput is not the same as velocity. Velocity is velocity is a sum of relatively estimated story points for completed work items, usually in a sprint, and usually referenced as average velocity. If you think about that statement, there's so much wrong in that sentence of what I just said. But throughput is simply it's the number of work items that you completed in a unit of time, be it a sprint, be it a week, a day, whatever. It's exactly the count of work items. It's not an average. It's not a sum of made up numbers. So they are not the same. A lot of coaches, agilists, though they try to use the words velocity and throughput interchangeably, like they're the same thing, and they're not. You could use velocity in a way that makes them seem similar. If you average story points, one story point per work item, then it would work out, but don't necessarily recommend it. So when you're looking at story points, which is what velocity is built on, they're not at all the same.
Yeah, I'm glad that you went there right at the end because there could potentially be a definition of velocity that is the same as the definition of throughput, where you say, okay, my I do my velocity as number of stories completed per sprint. Well,
Mhm.
that is your throughput per sprint, but in almost 95 to 99% of the cases, as you were saying, Jim, that's not what people are doing with velocity.
Correct.
Yeah.
And if your organization or your team wants to use the word velocity because it gives them a warm and fuzzy, then you set your story points to one per work item, and you're still using throughput as you're helping the team improve, but you're also giving them that warm and fuzzy they want to hear.
So I'm going to try to summarize what you were saying. In general, what we see out in the field, velocity and throughput are not the same thing. There are certain cases where there is an easy way to make them be the same thing, and certain cases do use them as the same thing. But for the general majority, they are not the same thing. Did I say that accurately?
You got it right on the money.
Perfect. Well, Jim, thank you again. Thank you for joining us once again for our question and answer series here. Where can people find you?
You can find me, well, go to procombat.org. You can search up Jim Sparks there in your trainers. That's one place. And if you go to don'tfeartheflow.com, you can also find me as well. So
Yeah,
that's,
yeah, the lesser known Blue Oyster Cult song. Don't fear the flow. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Go find Jim. Go find the other Pro Kanban trainers and the trainings that are listed at prokanban.org if you want to learn more about these things, more about flow metrics, more about Kanban. And we will see you in our next edition of our question and answer series.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.